Hi everyone, Ross here from the UK Anime Network, and today we are looking at the Japanese exclusive Secret of Mana remake on the PS Vita. Now, this came out on the PS Vita and the PS4. This is the box set that currently is doing the rounds on eBay for about 250 quid, and we picked it up for 93 in Akihabara. Now, it's second hand, the box is a little bit dinged up in the corners, but that's alright, still displays very nicely. It's a beautiful box with some really, really nice artwork. Now, I first played this game back in the early 90s when it came out on the Super Nintendo, and I saw in Superplay, the sort of main magazine at the time that introduced me to a lot about anime through Helen McCarthy's column, some little figures that they'd made for the game, and we never ever got them, and that was always such a shame. Now, hidden inside this lovely package here is in fact 3 figures of these main characters with these slightly updated character designs, which are a bit more detailed than the originals, and we're going to get to those. So let's start by slipping off the cover, putting that somewhere safe, because that is going on a shelf to be displayed, because it's gorgeous. As you can see, we've got this little Moogle thing sitting in the middle here. No, Rabbite, that's what these things were called, Rabbites, because they bit you and they look like rabbits. So that's a Rabbite, there it is. Not Rabbi, Rabbite. Now, let's open this thing up and see what we have inside. So, inside this sizable box, the first thing we have is a Secret of Mana pop-up storybook. Now I'm going to move this down here and I'll take things out one bit at a time. This is a Secret of Mana pop-up storybook. Now I think there's only about 3 pages to this, and the first one is a bit weird because it doesn't really sort of do an awful lot. So you can see this is the scene where they pull the stone out of the lake, and then we can open it up, and here is Flammy, the dragon from the series. Absolutely beautiful design, lovely wingspan there, and then finally we can pop it open to the last page, and it's the mana tree. And as you can see here, you've got a little platform which would be just about big enough for the 3 figures that are somewhere nestled in that box. So I think this is quite a nice thing. It's a pretty pointless thing because I don't think you can display it like this, but it's a really nice little idea and it's pretty unique, and that, I think, is a really beautiful cover. It was one of my favourite covers from my games as a kid. It really gave you a sense of scale. Now, let's put the book to one side, and we're going to bring out the next item, which is in the drawer. And that item is the game. Now, that's in Japanese, so we can't play that, but I'll get the DLC version, or, just the downloadable version, and that will be just fine. So we're going to put that down to one side here. Now, next thing we have... Hang on. This went much more smoothly in rehearsals, I can assure you. So what we have here in the rest of the box, which is now collapsing on me quite spectacularly. You know what, sod it, we're going to keep the box to one side. Let's take these things out. So we have these 2 items. This will be rebuilt later. This is going so well. So first thing we have is the Secret of Mana soundtrack. Now it doesn't tell us how many tracks are on here, so I'm going to have to look at this and find out. But again, really nice. I think that's an original cover. I haven't seen this before. And again, just shows you the birds flying towards the mana tree, which you see in the intro to the original game and indeed in this remake. So you have this, and that's going to stay up. Oh, look at that, it does. And finally, the main event for me anyway is these little figures, which are the 3 main characters from Secret of Mana. Now, what made Secret of Mana really unique was, as well as being a Zelda-style RPG, which at the time was quite unusual. When I say Zelda-style, I'm talking Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. So it was a top-down, or in this case, a slightly top-down isometric view of the characters, and it was just an action RPG, so you just went around hacking and slashing at the things that were attacking you. Now, inside this box, we have the characters. I'm going to open this up because I'm not a purist. Oh, so anything better than the sound of plastic opening when you try and take things out. Here we go. So,
no, there isn't.
Thank you, Mr. Seb. So here is the Sprite. Pretty sure he was a Sprite. He was your magic user in the group. And then we have the hero, who weirdly enough, when I was playing this as a kid, was called Jason. I don't think that was his actual name. It's the name I used. And then my favourite, because, you know, it's an Arabian Nights style princess type character, Lady Just Here. And that, I think, is a really, really nice trio of characters, and I can't wait to get those home and display them in my cabinet. But I have to say, this is a nice box set. It's not worth £250. Let's get that out of the way straight away. unless you are a die-hard Secret of Mana fan that absolutely must have this. For God's sake, don't pay eBay's massively inflated second-hand prices. It was only about £100 on release, so 250 is really pushing it. And I think they're pretty readily available around here in Akihabara. But these are lovely, lovely things. They're not massive. I mean, you know, they're about a finger's height, not even. And the one unboxing video of this I watched before I went out and bought this, they looked a lot bigger. And I think the guy just had tiny, tiny hands. I have normal-sized hands, therefore you should be able to get a good feel for how big these figures actually are. But I think this is a really, really nice set. And if you can find it for the right price and you're a Secret of Mana fan and you don't mind paying for this and then downloading a version of it in English, then it's well worth getting. It's the first time ever we've had merchandise for this game, and I think they've done an absolutely fantastic job. So by all means, find it for the right price, about £100. That's pretty much its limit, but absolutely gorgeous set of things. This is going to make a fantastic display in one of my cabinets at home, and I'm really looking forward to getting back from Japan and setting it all up. So thank you for joining us. If you want to see more, check out the UK Anime Network website, or check out our podcast, which is up on SoundCloud or iTunes. All the links will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we hope to be back with some more unusual unboxings very soon. Bye all!